It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, 15th of May 2019. It's at 2 minutes past 8 a.m. CET. Piotr here, and this is the pre-London live market coverage on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind, trading FX on margin, trading crypto carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investments. So please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay, where we are. There we go. Let's start with the invitation. Just the friendly reminder, you are more than welcome to join me later today at 2 p.m. CET. We are going to cover New York Open live for a few hours, so there are gonna be plenty of time to discuss many things, all right? And especially should be interesting from Canadian dollar and US dollar perspective, as we do get Canadian CPI and US retail sales. So if we are talking about the calendar, you can see inside the chat window yesterday API crude inventories, not crude positive, I would say. We are going to get the official EEA later today. So if you are talking about the calendar, let's try to step by step. All right. What happened during the Tokyo session? We get the wage price index quarter to quarter from Australia, and it was weaker than what market was expecting. 0.5 versus 0.6 expectations. Then next, very weak Chinese data, right? Industrial production much weaker, retail sales much weaker, and actually it was the weakest retail sales number from 2003, right? An unemployment rate only at 5%. At least for now, there was no great move on the FX side in relation to this weak China data. We'll see. I'm very curious what's going to happen during the London session, right? Now, we just got the German GDP quarter to quarter, and almost in line. You can check it. Inside the chat window. Okay, what next? Within the next 40 minutes, we are going to get French final CPI at 11 a.m. CET, flash GDP for the whole EU. In the meantime, we are going to have German 30-year bond auction, and then again at 2 we are going to start New York Open live market coverage. Half an hour later, 2:30 p.m. CET, Canadian CPI. Expectations are lower month to month. All right. And to be honest with you, I'm very curious what we are going to see. The USD CAD chart looks good, but not sure if we are going to have a time to discuss it right now, but definitely we are going to discuss it at the very beginning of our afternoon meeting. We do have retail sales out of the US at 2:30 as well, Empire State Manufacturing Index, then 3:15 p.m. CET, capacity utilization rate, industrial production. So, and then 4:30 CET, crude oil inventory. So looks like it might be a very busy afternoon or very busy New York session. So I'm very glad that we are going to have our meeting later today. That's how it looks from the calendar perspective. Nothing special on the FX option side. We do have a little bit above 500 million on cable at 129, so that's where we are right now. We do have at 69 on Aussie dollar a little bit more than 500 million. All right, and the most busy might be dollar yen. We are trading currently at 109.65, and we do have 109 in the zone in between 109.50, 109.40. We do have 2 billion. All right, so 109.50, 109.40, this 10 pips zone, we do have 2 billion, and it might be very quiet morning from that perspective, but I wouldn't bet on that. That's how it looks from the option market perspective. All right. Looks like it's time to check charts. Let's start with cable. Daily cable. That's what we discussed yesterday, right? Doesn't look good. All right. The big failure was over here. The big failure was over here, right? Once we broke through that level, market was not able to get back above this 3rd of May open level. I'm talking about 30.25, and I'm talking about the closing the day, right? So swing high, following lower. The very important thing is that yesterday we closed we broke through the Monday low and we closed below, right? So again, what we discussed yesterday, this swing low is gonna be under pressure. What I'm looking for yesterday, we are discussing that retest of the weekly open would be great from the short perspective. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I've been trading a bit from the intraday perspective, but today, closing the gap, so retest of the Monday low, maybe a little bit higher towards the low from the 9th of May swing low. So again, Monday low and then something closer to the weekly open as a possible supply levels. You can check inside the chat window. There, I input the information, latest news from the number 10 Downing Street. So yeah, looks like pound might be again under pressure here. There is another pull of the liquidity below 27.80, right? And it might open finally the way towards 27.30, 26.50. We will see how it's going to play out. So let's switch to the lower time frame. We do have this, we spoke about this possible megaphone formation, and still there is a chance we see the bounce from here, all right? And Brexit related news might push pound a little bit higher, right? But again, I wouldn't bet on a sustained move to the upside as long as we are not gonna to get the close above 30.25 on a daily, right? So what I'm looking for, I would be very careful to chase the market here, right? It might be we get the lower close. Yesterday there was no bounce at all, right? It was like dead cat. It was we cannot call it even dead cat bounce here, right? So we are trying to move a little bit lower here, but I would be careful. The first move to the downside, it might be just stop count, and then we might see a little bit of the relief rally. I think that this double bottom, intraday double bottom over here, right? I'm talking about the late New York on Monday low, and then Tuesday Tokyo low over here, which was broken yesterday. Pullback and sell off, and I think we might see something like this. So in case we are going to take out Tokyo and yesterday late New York low, if you are going to take out some profit taking, so something similar to what we've seen, then rally towards the Monday low, towards this double bottom over here, or something similar to double bottom before it was broken, rally towards the Monday low. We are talking about the levels around 29.40, and then looking for selling opportunity around this or a little bit higher. If not, if market will rally stronger and higher, then the something towards weekly open might be the case here. That's how it looks from the pound perspective. Now, before we switch to the dollar yen or euro dollar, both are the strongest stuff inside the dollar basket. So let's have a look what we have. Let's check what we have on the dollar index from higher time frame perspective. All right, so let's switch to the dollar index. Just 1 second. All right, there we go. Dollar index from higher time frame perspective, right? If you remember what different colors means on my chart, in that case, red one is related to the monthly chart, right? So it's a still space for dollar bulls to hit supply based on the monthly chart. We are talking about the psychological key 100 level, right? What is going on lately? Yeah, it could be boring sometimes, right? It's a very slow move, but anyway, there was a break to the upside late April 2019, followed by a little bit of the profit taking, right? To be honest with you, I thought this rejection is gonna be much stronger, all right? But looks like the 97 level all right, looks like 97 level right now is working in favor of bulls, right? So it's some kind of the support. Demand is around 97. Okay, so in that case and see the price action from the very beginning of this week. So Monday it was the retest of 97, very positive close above weekly open. Yesterday broke through the Monday high, continuation, strong close, right? So right now 97.70, 97.80. So these levels over here are key from dollar bears perspective, right? Because bulls are going here, right? But I think as long as 97 holds, we are going to see a little bit higher levels, and from here towards 97.70, 97.80, and once 97.70, 97.80 is broken, we might see market is trying to speed it up higher. Pool of liquidity above 98.40, so that's next target above 97.80, next target 98.40, 98.50, with final psychological 100 as a target here, right? That's how we have to watch the market. So from today's perspective, all right, from today's perspective, I think that the Monday high and weekly open, so over here, all right, we are talking 97.40, 97.30 as the first possible demand, with possible rally to 97.70, 97.80. It would we can translate into the move below 112 on euro dollar, right? So that's how I see the things. Of course, once we are going to break through the weekly open, that's gonna be negative, and probably we are going to retest 97, if not lower, right? So watch out the weekly open. All right, positive for bulls right now. Then we will see. We are going to update dollar chart during our afternoon meeting. All right, so let's get back to the platform and let's have a look what we have on euro dollar and dollar yen. So euro dollar, if you remember, we were waiting yesterday for some kind of the swing high creation. All right, actually we didn't get that high. Strong rejection. One of the reasons we were wondering yesterday, I've been looking for a news related to the sudden move to the downside. It was the news services were trying to tell us it was related to the news from Italy about the breaking the European Union rules about the GDP and the debt. Anyway, now looks even more bearish here on the euro side. So I'm looking for a retest of the weekly open for now. Of course, that would be the brave move, but that might translate into the 97.30 on the dollar index. So I'm looking to attempt to go higher. We have the Monday low and weekly open as a possible supply over here. So let's be prepared. So let's switch to before we switch to the small time frame, still, because that's the key, that's what I've been talking about. Post FOMC high, post payrolls low, right? Retest of this high. Yesterday I've been talking about possible stop count higher towards the range from 17th of April, right? It didn't happen, didn't materialize. Market is weak, so probably post NFP low might be as a target. Here the low stops over there below. That's where the liquidity is. So let's switch lower. What we are looking for. All right, so the green over here, base, it's a Monday low, weekly open. Look how nice it was here, right? We went through that low, retest, holding below. I think market may want to look for some stops, and I'm going to watch this particular supply over here, right? So this range, a little bit above the Monday low, as a possible intraday short entry, right? Otherwise, if we are going to go through that level? I don't think so, right? We'll see. So something around 1225 higher towards 1240, right? That's what I'm looking for on euro dollar. And on the 15-minute charts, that's the possible supply right here, right? Riley base drop. Riley yellow base drop, right? Hopefully you clear. And as I mentioned yesterday, preparing 3 webinars for June, so I'm going to explain everything, right, in details, this particular strategy. All right, so let's switch to dollar yen. Few banks, I've checked few analyses and few records from few different banks. JP Morgan is looking to sell, and we discussed it yesterday, right? Even we were short. I've been short during our afternoon meeting yesterday. 2R been hit, right? And again, it's gonna be related to overall market sentiment, I think. But any attempt to move higher towards weekly open, Monday high, I think that we might to see attempt to close this gap, and we might see rejection around this level, right? So I'm looking for rejection around here, right? But to be honest with you, and we are talking about something around 110, but to be honest with you, if we are gonna to see the rejection here, and if we are going to see euro dollar below 112, right? One of the solution might be Euro JPY. All right, Euro JPY. So what I'm looking for here is, look, very important level around 122.60, very important level, right? Falling trend line, we might even try to do that way. And let's switch to intraday chart. What we have here from the intraday perspective. We have this type of the range. All right. So what I'm looking for, okay. I'm going to monitor dollar yen. That's the first thing first, right? Sorry. I'm going to monitor dollar yen. All right. And if we are going to see the rejection around 110, and we are going to get below, 112 on euro dollar, right? I might switch from the dollar yen into the euro yen. I think that beginning of the session, right? There is a good setup. There is a good setup for squeeze a little bit higher towards the top of the range to hit some stops, right? And then final move to the downside, right? But actually 1, 2, 3, actually we are already ready, looks like. But anyway, this type of the approach, or first break down, retest, and continuation as a second option, right? So not necessarily I'm going to trade the yen via dollar, because overall dollar is stronger compared to euro, so euro yen might be the better choice, right? At the same time, I'm going to monitor pound yen. Here we made quite good analysis yesterday, right? The only thing is I would prefer to see positive close in terms of what happened yesterday, right? To have situation that, yeah, it was attempt to move higher, right? Like here, which turned out to be the short accumulation. Haven't seen that yesterday, so yeah, we'll see. But again, very similar situation on the pound yen here as well, right? So looks like we might get back into the negative sentiment, but trying to figure it out if it's going to happen. Let's have a look where we are on the dollar Chinese yuan, right? Yesterday we discussed that after the previous week high was broken, right? There was an attempt to correct. We didn't even manage to retest the previous week high yet, right? 687. So a little bit more manipulation may take place here, trying to push it lower, but overall looks like that after the Monday break to the upside, market is almost ready to look for 695, meaning to try to take out some stops over here, all right? And if we are gonna to manage to close above 695, right, then trying to watch indices might be very, very interesting. Anyway, Nasdaq, there you go. We spent some time yesterday. I told you that if you are a bear, and we were much lower, right? If you are a bear, you have to be patient, wait for rally. And we found first possible intraday supply inside this yellow box. And you know what? Congratulations if you were a patient and from intraday perspective you were able to manage to grab few points on the short side, right? I strongly been talking about the higher levels yesterday, and you know what? I'm not gonna be surprised if market will look for stops and try to push higher, right? More manipulation, and we know what we are talking about, right? It might be as a upper shadow 7,510, right? To try to create head and shoulders, small head and shoulders, or it might be over under, and in that case we might see 7,686 based on the chart I'm using, right? So from the bear's perspective, from a higher time frame, it was attempt to go higher, close below Friday low, positive from the bear's perspective. It might be another attempt to go higher to test this level 7,510 with upper shadow. That might be short setup. We are going to discuss in details during afternoon meeting, right? And finally, let's have a look what is going on the crypto side. Just 1 second. Okay, USA, there you go. Strong move to the upside. Where we are, exactly we were trying a different way. Market was trying to reject the move higher around possible supply base on the weekly. That's what we discussed yesterday over here, 8,200, 8,500. There was an attempt to reject negative upper shadow, negative body, right? But looks like, at least for now, let me show you, at least for now, after such a strong breakout, right? Every attempt to reject the rally, to fade that rally, was bought immediately. All right. So every rejection is almost like maybe we can skip this, move higher, because it was round bottom over here, but higher market went, the more aggressive buyers were, right? So here was an attempt to reject, to fade the rally, almost V formation. Here was an attempt to fade, almost V formation. A little bit stronger rejection, almost V formation, right? Anyway, guys, of course, at some point, we have to see some kind of the stabilization, profit taking after such a huge move, right? But again, as long as we are above 6,000, right, looks like we've changed the direction. All right. Now, if the Bitcoin is gonna to take the breath, right, you may want to look for some alts. Ethereum, boom! And we were discussing yesterday, if we are going to have weekly close above this blue zone, of course it's still some time till weekly close, but wow, looks nice versus dollar. Now, if you are more towards the crypto, probably you noticed last few days the bloodbath on the alt side versus Bitcoin, right? Now, it might be worth to consider to check few charts. I wouldn't say that it's already, you know, we changed the direction, but I think it's worth to watch. All right. So let's start with Ethereum versus BTC. Very nice turnaround yesterday compared to what happened on Monday. Move above the weekly open. Of course, it still need more, but at least something is going on. So let's check. Let's check. Double bottom. All right. What may happen here? We have to be ready either for move higher, retest broken trend line, continuation to the upside from the bullish perspective, or failure at the top of this line. One more stop hunt for all these guys who are so happy that they catch the double bottom. So stop them out and then rally, right? Of course, 2 consecutive days daily close below this double bottom, and we might see continuation to the outside, but it looks good right now. It looks good. I'm not saying we are going to see the strong pullback on Bitcoin. We might see strong rally on the alts camp, but as I mentioned, we are from that perspective versus Bitcoin, we are not ready yet here on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So let's have a look what we have on the, for example, NEO. Here we have to get back above this latest low, right? First thing first, we trying to break the falling trend line, right? So retest of that bottom might take place, right? Then what you wanna see, you wanna see strong move to the upside. You wanna see retest over under creation and move higher, right? So there are positive signs. Think we are not ready yet, but we are getting closer and closer. So we are going to monitor this sector as well. And again, I'm almost ready, as I mentioned. Either later this week or very early next week, we are going to start to cover in a separate meetings few crypto charts. All right, guys, that's it from me this morning. Again, you are more than welcome to join me within the next few hours at 2 p.m. CET. I'm going to cover live New York Open, and it might be very interesting New York session, especially taking into consideration that we are waiting for Canadian CPI and US retail sales. Have a great morning. Don't be trapped. See you again within the next few hours. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.